Hi, Judy, and hi, everyone that's watching. Thank you for having me in the show. So, I'm the creator behind the Perceptions of Injustice. I started this channel almost 9 months ago. I hold a master's degree in law. I practiced as an attorney outside of the US for maybe 4 or 5 years. But in here in the US, I haven't practiced. So this is my only access to the legal world, this channel, let's say. Yeah, so that's it.
Mhm. Okay. So how did you even hear about the Dan Markel case?
I cannot remember exactly how did I hear about it, because usually I watch a lot of true crime. I'm very interested in this thing. And I think I heard about it from one of the podcasts, like Over My Dead Body, or I don't remember exactly which one. But then I got really into it when I heard the wiretaps that Fancy Fiction was uploading. There's a lot of them. And I would almost every night hear a video or two about, I heard all of the wiretaps actually. Um, and they were very intriguing for me. The case in general is very intriguing for me, specifically because of the wiretaps, hearing
Mhm.
about the conversations between everybody involved. And I think it gives us a sneak peek to the Adelson's family,
Mhm.
the wiretaps. So yeah, that's how I got into the Dan Markel case.
Yeah.
I heard about it and I was interested by it. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's good to hear that you heard about Fancy Fiction's channel, because I also was listening to pretty much every single call that she
Mhm.
put out for us. And, people are all waiting with bated breath to see if Fancy is going to upload something else,
Right.
because it really paints a picture of the family dynamics, right? Because that's what you've been focusing on, is the
Mhm.
weird, or what many people find weird, is how enmeshed the family is, and they're gossiping about each other and talking about Wendy's dating life in detail and wanting her to stay together with this rich man, and
Mhm.
just very, very strange and intertwined, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what made you decide to make these videos about the case?
So the first video that I made about the case was a video for 2 or 3 minutes about Katie's proffer. It was right after Katie did the proffer, and there was like moving sands in the Dan Markel case online, and I had some opinions to voice, and I did it by doing this video. I got a lot of comments, a lot of discussions. Um, I think it opened up the door for me to have more discussions about the Dan Markel case. And from there, I did a live analyzing the cross examination of Wendi Adelson. Also, people loved it. And from there, I went into it. But yes, you were saying it gives us an image about the family dynamics. It's it's a typical dysfunctional and toxic family that a lot of us have experienced. If not you personally experiencing growing up in a dysfunctional family, then for sure you have seen or witnessed someone that have grew up in a dysfunctional family or knew someone who is a dysfunctional family. It's everywhere in the society. The only difference is that the Adelsons were capable of doing such a horrendous thing, going that far to commit such a crime. I don't think that normal, regular people go this far, but it's a concentration of the most dysfunctional family, in
Mhm.
my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't you think the Adelsons and their supporters would say they're not dysfunctional? They love each other. Like they love each other so much that the son is calling the mom every day practically, and talking about what they're going to eat,
Yeah.
or how to shop for a certain type of food, how to pick luggage, how to buy the spa package when you go on vacation. What are you doing with the kids? Let's come over to have dinner. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have some sort of psychology background?
I don't. I
Oh,
don't.
Okay.
But I have been ever since. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I was very interested in psychology and in people's behavior in general, human behavior in general. Um, I say it's just an interest and a passion of mine. It's not something I studied at all.
Mhm.
So you're saying that a lot of people would say, "Oh no, that's love that's happening between them." It's very easy to say that, um, but I think nowadays, knowing everything we know about narcissism, psychopathy, and the healthy relationships between people, especially in a family, anyone would say this is not like that's not healthy love.
Mhm.
That's toxic love, that we kind of grew up on, or maybe me, if you would see a mother that much enmeshed in her son's or daughter's life, people around this mother, unhealthy people or unhealthy opinions, would be like, oh, she loves her kids so much that she's so enmeshed with them. But that's not about love, because like, that's not a mother's love. I don't think it is. I don't think this is the healthy thing of being or doing, or being in life. Yeah.
Yeah, that it actually has some sort of toxic overtones.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear Fancy Fiction's wiretap call where Charlie and Wendy were actually talking, where they sounded like lovers on the phone? I mean, just my opinion, but it was very bizarre.
Yeah, I did not. I mean, maybe I did. It was few months ago, and I don't remember. But I don't recall between Wendy and Charlie hearing them talking together. Mainly Donna and Charlie. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I believe that that's how they talk. I
Mhm.
believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, all this "I love you, honey," that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah. So
Too
maybe
much.
let's make a plea out there to Fancy Fiction. Please re-upload or
Yes.
republish that video, because I think a lot of people would love to hear that. It is very bizarre, where I was like thinking Charlie didn't even have this tone of voice when he was talking with the women he was dating.
Hmm.
It's very weird, like
Yeah.
it's just like, this kind of like giggly tone between them and saying,
Flirty.
"I love
Yeah.
you."
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, bizarre, bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So tell me more about your thoughts about the case. I mean, should I assume that you believe the Adelson family is involved with Dan's murder?
I think yes, obviously. I think any sane mind, sane human being looking at the whole picture of the Dan Markel case, and not just about one specific thing or two, just take a step back and look at the whole picture, the whole evidence, the whole thing. You cannot get to a conclusion other than this is the Adelsons who's behind it. And like, we can exactly pinpoint but everyone's role in this family, in this crime. I think it's very obvious that everyone is involved in this. um, and I think that Catherine Magbanua's trial was it should have been as a wake up call to the Adelsons, that just don't fight anymore. Just give up, But
But never, never, never give up.
of
Remember?
course, never.
Remember Wendy's necklace?
Yes, just
Donnie
like
was
it
telling you,
says
never
on.
give up.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And that's one of the problems, having this mindset of never give up sometimes is the problem. When we're talking about giving up, about playing the system or being the bad guy, you should give up sometimes, and just look at yourself. Just like, I mean, I'm jumping on another subject, but have you heard about the Corey Richens case?
The what?
The Corey Richens case?
Oh, Corey Bridget. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, a little bit on how she wrote that book about
Right.
grieving for children after
Yeah.
she most likely killed her
Yeah.
husband by poisoning him,
Yeah. And
right?
then after a year of killing her husband, she she was arrested. Okay. And then in the prison, after being arrested, she wrote a letter, Walk the Dog. I don't know if you heard about
I
Walk the
heard
Dog.
about it, but tell me
Yeah.
more, because I'm not as obsessed with that to anywhere near this extent that I'm obsessed with the Markel case.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, this is a letter that she was hiding in one of her books in prison, in jail or prison, I don't know, addressed to her mother. Uh, it was titled Walk the Dog, and the content of the letter was to teach her, to instruct her mother so that the mother can instruct her brother to to uh, to be on the witness stand and say things that are not true
Oh.
about her husband, because they're not, so her and her defense team, basically they want to say that her husband was an addict for fentanyl and he used to get them from Mexico. We know that this is not right, but
Oh.
she's trying to say that her husband told her brother that, and said, but please don't tell Corey that that I get drugs from Mexico, because she's going to be angry about it. So she's tampering with how do you say that? Witness tampering.
With the witness.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what they're. So why did I say that? After a year of being free and then being arrested, she still thinks that she's the smartest one in the room. She still thinks that she can play the system and she can get away with this. To a point where she wrote this letter. If you read the letter, you're going to be very surprised, because she's very confident in her tone in the letter that she's going to be out of here very soon,
Oh.
That's just a matter of time, and she's going to be out of here very soon. Just like the Adelsons are still fighting to this day, and they think that they have a chance.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah, like this kind of delusional thinking that they've always been above those like lower class people. They
Right.
have privileges. They always get away with it. They get what they want with their money and their connections. Yeah. But just a question here. Why is it called the Walk the Dog letter?
I don't know.
Was she telling them to go out and walk a dog, or is that like alluding to the brother being like a dog being walked or something?
That's what I thought. I mean,
Okay.
that's because I've been thinking about it. What has this to do with the letter Walk the Dog? That's how I thought about it. How do you say this? Like, yeah, I think she's being poetic. I think, like, as if her brother was the dog, and you, my mother, you should walk the dog to the right
Whoa.
place of the witness stand. Maybe. I don't
Jeez,
know. Maybe.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, well, interesting. Well,
Mhm.
similarly, so that's interesting that you did that analogy of Donna using Charlie as a flying monkey, like in
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz, where the witch used the flying monkeys just to do all her bad deeds for her. So that's kind of interesting. Do you feel sorry for Wendi or Charlie?
I don't feel sorry for Wendi. Charlie, it's not that I feel sorry for him. I just think that he's the result of growing up. I mean, all of them are the result of growing up, having Donna as their mother. She just ended their lives. The victims in this case, I think, are far beyond the boys and then Markel and his boys. They're also the kids of Dawn, specifically Charlie, I think. I mean, if you want to look at it in another, I mean, of course, he's a criminal and everything. But if you want to look at it from a different perspective, let's say if for 1 second we put ourselves in a different seat, he is kind of a victim for Donna. I mean, of course, he's an adult man. He
Yes.
should have known better, of course. But, not feel sorry for him, no.
But he's a product of his upbringing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see that Surviving the Survivor show from last year, where a former friend of Wendy's basically talked about how the Adelson parents had supposedly set up a private gym inside their home so that Charlie could work out in private because he was trying to bilk an insurance company after he hurt his wrist during some sumo wrestling promotional event. So anyway, but I thought that was really interesting because it shows that even when Charlie was young, his parents were still trying to enable him and try to one up the system, thinking that, well, we know that we're going to be suing or we're in this lawsuit claiming personal injury, but so let's do something else so nobody sees you outside working out at the gym.
Yeah. They have different ways than other people to live this life. It's really bizarre how they live this life, the Adelson's family. And I talked about this in my previous video, saying that Charlie wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his parents, whether it's him being a dentist, him being that successful, let's say, as if you want to define success by money or whatever, or girls or whatever, then yes, his parents really pushed him and were not only okay, but clapped for him whenever he cheated in the system. This was a good thing for them. They looked at the person who would play the system in a good light. Oh, he's smart, he knows how to get his way.
Yeah. So yeah, good comment here. I'm sorry I haven't been able to address the comments yet. David mentions Charlie's brother, the oldest one, Rob, was smart enough to move away. No sorrow for Charlie. Yeah, that's right. Charlie was a grown adult when Dan Markel was killed. Yeah. Would you like to go ahead and address Cliff's comment to you?
Sure.
Okay,
yes.
Let me put it up on the screen. Hey, Cliff, I know you are watching us right now. So she is gracious enough to answer your question, which kind of puts her on the spot here because, we don't know what other evidence exists out there. I'm sure the prosecutors, investigators have even more evidence. So, of course, we're just giving our opinions based on what's publicly available. Okay. Let's see. Can people see that? I think it's just so fuzzy and small. But
yeah.
Okay, so basically Cliff is saying that based on your videos, I think you believe Donna is a controlling narcissist and at the top of the Adelson family hierarchy. So after the long lead-in, here's my question. If Donna wanted Dan gone and schemed directly with her flying monkey Charlie, knowing they are not healthy mentally, do you find it hard to believe they would do this without Wendi's consent and knowledge? Not saying I believe she wasn't involved, just wanted your input on that. Thank you. I think number one, that's a big if. Okay,
yes,
so you're putting in these hypotheticals here.
So I think that. So do you want me to answer?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. I'm sure Cliff wants to hear your take.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear from somebody else. So
yeah,
just our opinion, of course.
Yeah. So I wanna divide this question by answering divided by saying that for sure I'm sure that Donna is able and capable to do this without Wendi's consent, and that's not a debate where we're talking about like that. This is unquestionable in my opinion, because Donna is capable of anything. When we're talking about Donna Adelson, just remove any morale, any values, any consent. She doesn't even care about this consent. It was a personal thing between her and Dan Markel. That's what I believe. Okay. But are we saying that Wendi was involved in this because she wouldn't be involved because she must have given them consent? That's not why we're saying Wendi is involved. That's not why we're basing Wendy's involvement on this. We're saying that Wendi is involved because of a lot of other things. Yes, Donna is capable of doing that without her consent, but that doesn't mean that she didn't know. That doesn't mean that she did not know. Not only she did not, she knew. I think she knew, and she did not stop this. She wanted this to happen. She just let it be. If we want to talk about why we think Wendi is involved, there's tons of things, I think, in my opinion, to say the least, why we think she's involved. But I don't think it has anything to do with Donna not doing anything without her consent.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's a good answer because, yes, Donna certainly is deranged enough that I could see her possibly doing something without Wendi's consent. But the other question is, do we believe Wendi was involved? And I think the vast majority of people who have really done a deep dive into this case, I would say 95+% of people who are really into the case and have read tons of stuff, we do believe that Wendi was involved, just based on so many factors that I'm not going to regurgitate here. Instead, I would like to share Fancy Fiction's awesome video here. So can you guys see it? Okay. Yeah. So Noah, have you seen this before?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, because it only has 12,000 views. And there are plenty of other Markel videos which got over 50,000 views. So I'm like, geez, people got to see this. And especially when I saw this type of map during Katie's trial, that really convinced me further that Wendi was, in fact, involved with Dan's murder. So look at this map here. So it shows you the route that Wendi took right after Dan was shot, or within an hour or so. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and also there's a ton of things that would say that Wendi is involved. I don't think it's a question anymore at this point. I mean, she could be involved and not get indicted. Yes, she could. It could happen, because I think, in my opinion, she is the smartest one. Not the smartest, the sneakiest one. She's also the result of growing up with Donna. You know how growing up with Donna Adelson, she learned how to be selfish. She is, I think,
to manipulate people.
Yes.
That seemed to be like some common thread between Wendi, Charlie, plus Donna.
Right.
Yeah. Manipulate people, act like you're such a great person, so sweet, so genuine, taking advantage of poor people.
Yeah. With indirectly, manipulating indirectly without saying, Mom, you need to find a solution for this. I need him gone from my life. No, she did not. Maybe she did not say these exact words, but she, everything points to her. Talking about this constantly, pushing buttons of her family constantly about Dan Markel, to a point where her brother was making jokes about hiring a hitman. And she was not only talking about my brother saying that, she was bragging about it to Jeffrey Lacasse. She was proud of it almost. Oh, my brother says this joke, ta 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 ta. We never heard her, not even once, saying, but I stopped him, but I tried to stop him, but I said that's not a nice joke. This is the father of my children you're talking about. Never said this, And on her first interview with the detective in the police station, she said that my brother jokes a lot about this. I find this comment really, like, I have to think about this comment a lot. why would you say that in the first interview? I think she said that to show the detective that I'm clean. I have no hands in this. I told you everything I know, even the joke that my brother made. I told you about it, and then just like uh, removed herself entirely from the situation and lived her life.
Yeah, she was good at planting seeds,
Yes,
and then just kind of hiding as if, oh, I'm just a victim in all of this. What? How did this happen? Oh,
right.
yeah. And so I also wanted to give, of course, everybody knows Deep Dive True Crime Mentor Lawyer
Yeah.
has been covering this case for years and years, way before I even, started doing a YouTube channel. So shout out to Mentor Lawyer. And if you guys haven't seen this video, please do. After I've read the whole transcript of Jeffrey Lacasse's police interviews, I was like even more convinced that Wendi was in on it. It was very disturbing.
Yes, me too. Actually, after I heard Jeffrey Lacasse, I was even more convinced about Wendi, because why would Jeffrey Lacasse said some things that we wouldn't know about if
Yeah,
she didn't tell him. He
mhm,
wouldn't know about it if Wendi didn't tell him about it.
yeah, that's right. And what I find just awesome about him was that he was unrelenting. Like people got the sense that the first time he spoke with the younger investigator that perhaps the guy wasn't really taking Jeff seriously, but he voluntarily went back over and over again to give all the info he knew. And as we've seen in this case and other cases, there are plenty of other people who would just say, like, no, I'm not talking to investigators. I don't want to get involved.
Yeah, I don't want this headache.
Yeah, exactly. And when two of the subscribers and I read June on Chinda's police interview, there was someone who commented and was mad at me and said, "You're so mean-spirited. June never should have even talked to the police." And I'm like, excuse me, this is crazy. If someone has important information about someone's murder, wouldn't you want them to talk to the police and tell the truth instead of saying, oh, she never should have gotten involved? I mean, that's horrible. How would you
Yeah.
feel if it's your own family member that got murdered and some witness with good information just is like, nah, don't want to get involved? That's just, I can't believe people have that kind of attitude.
Yeah, you see, this is called the truth teller. Just like Jeffrey Lacasse, he went voluntarily to the police and told them even more information. Everything he knew about. Instead, or on the other image, we see Wendi just hiding and not really caring about knowing anything about the who killed her, the father of her sons.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely like
I mean,
there's
she's
so many crazy, weird behaviors on her part that really give you a horrible taste in your mouth. I mean, I think even people who defended her at first and thought she's a poor victim for a few years after Dan was killed, they changed their mind after seeing the way she testified and hearing more information about what was really going on behind the scenes back in 2019 at Sigfredo and Katie's trial.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. She's mean. I think she's mean, especially the way she reacted with Ruth Markel and her family after the fact of the crime. She immediately went away from Tallahassee, even though she told Ruth Markel that she's gonna see her the next day, and then the next day she left with all her things, all her stuff packed. in the car. They just left. Yes, right. Yes, I got this from. Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly. So that's another reason why, out of the bazillion number of reasons, you guys should check out also Jury Trial Mentors. Great video. It's gotten tons of views where he lists out over 100 reasons why he thinks Wendi was involved. But of course, the prosecution still has to be able to prove that she actually did something to conspire with her family members to commit the murder. So pointing to a lot of really crappy things she did after the murder isn't really going to prove it, but it still altogether makes her look like a very devious, horrible psychopath. So I know I've drawn attention to this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again that whole week before Dan was killed was also when Wendi coincidentally told Jeff she wanted to take a week break from their relationship. So she didn't even want him communicating with her. Well, how convenient, because that whole week, I assume she was probably packing, plotting with her family. Of course, she doesn't want Jeff or anyone coming to the house to see her packing up so fast. So Ruth Markel wrote that when she went to Wendi's house that weekend after Dan died, said, that being said, the house was a rental, and upon closer inspection, it very much looked like it. There wasn't much decoration, and there weren't many toys in the living room. No kids' blankets or soft stuff, as Dan liked to call the boys' stuffed animals. Wendi's place was neat and tidy, verging on empty. It felt very different from Dan's house, where it was clear from the playthings everywhere that two little kids lived there happily. So, of course, that following Monday, the next day, Wendi just packed up and left town for good with those two children and her parents, not talking with the investigators again.
Do you think it's possible for a whole house with two kids to be packed in this amount of time and just, go away from the town just like that? It needs, I don't know, it needs weeks to be packed. These stuff needs weeks sometimes to be packed. It doesn't happen in one day or two, in my opinion, So that also tells me that this was planned or not prepared for, at least.
Yeah, it was plotted. It was carefully, all these little things had to be plotted and, rehearsed, and, the whole group of them most likely, all meeting together and talking multiple times, figuring out how they're going to get away with it and ultimately get Wendi and the boys out of Tallahassee as soon as possible.
And you said, Judy, that maybe the prosecution cannot pinpoint something to say, okay, she's done it, and I think this is the reason why I say she's very sneaky, the sneakiest, because she didn't leave footprints. I mean, okay, when you look at the whole picture, yes, you cannot say otherwise that she is involved, and she, but to really legally, I'm saying, to indict her legally, I'm not sure that the prosecution can do that. I don't know if they will or not. I don't know. I don't know, but
Yeah.
she did not leave.
She didn't leave many footprints, whereas Charlie was such a loud mouth that he was caught on all the wiretaps, saying all sorts of incriminating stuff, talking with Katie, talking with his mom. Mom's talking about, I got some paperwork today. This TV is about 5. It involves the two of us, blebby bleb. Whereas, of course, number one mistake was that the investigators did not wiretap Wendi's phone. So, a lot of potentially valuable evidence didn't get captured then. Yeah.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm still hoping that Katie had something good to say or has something good to say that would result in the prosecution of Wendi as well as Donna, maybe even Harvey. But right now, I think that in my opinion, I think there is enough evidence to go ahead and arrest Donna at the very least. Yeah, not sure about Wendi though. Yeah.
The way I see the prosecution is working, I mean, I've said it before and I'm gonna say it now. I'm stunned. I'm so impressed with this prosecution. So many people say, "Oh, it's since 2014 and nothing has been significantly made." Like, but in my opinion, that's calculated from the prosecution. They're doing this systematically. They started with Luis Rivera, Sigfredo Garcia, and then Katie Magbanua. And then, like, Katie's trial kind of opened up the door for Charlie's arrest. And then now with Charlie's trial, I think it's gonna, in my opinion, this is all speculation, it's gonna lead to Donna's arrest now. They're doing it step by step, systematically.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Because if you do everybody at once, it's gonna be maybe a mess. I mean, they are powerful people in the society, the Adelsons, and the prosecution know that.
Yeah. And also there was always the possibility that somebody could turn once they pick them down, pick them one by one. So just like with Katie,
right?
I mean, it took her conviction and her sentencing before she finally decided she wanted to make some proffers.
Right.
Still don't know what's going to happen with that. Tim Jansen still maintained on Surviving the Survivor recently that he doesn't think Katie's going to testify, but that she's not getting a deal. So we don't know. I mean, but we can still speculate, right? One commenter said to me, well, how do you know this? All you can do is keep speculating. I'm like, yeah,
exactly.
We are speculating. Okay. We're enjoying it. We care. We care about Dan Markel and his case. So who is one sourpuss to say that? Well, you're just speculating. Ugh.
That's exactly what we're doing. And we're not ashamed about it. We are here to speculate. Yes.
Yeah.
And my own speculation is that the seal of the deal is going to be Katie's proffer. And I think what makes me say that even more is that the defense team for Charlie worked really hard not to make Katie's proffer public before, they didn't want it to be. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting what she's going to say. I don't know. Let's wait and see.
Yeah. They had to get Dan before he and Donna went to court, where Dan was going to have Donna restricted to monitored visits because of her remarks about Dan to his boys. Yeah, and they also had to kill him off before school started. So that whole timing issue of, the boys need to be registered for school and start school down in southern Florida. So
yeah, and they had to change names after they changed school. They had everything in mind. Okay, we changed school, we changed names, we they had everything prepared. The Adelsons.
Yeah. And then, we got to get Katie her boob job,
right.
to start writing out those checks to Katie too.
Right.
Yeah. And, did you hear, it was also on Fancy Fiction where there's this interesting phone call. Well, I think they're all interesting, but there's a phone call between Katie and Charlie where Katie is kind of freaked out because she said like the wheel off her car or the tire fell off while she was driving it after she had gotten her car supposedly repaired at Sully's car shop. And Sully was a good friend of Charlie's. So some people think like, did Charlie tell Sully to do something bad to her car so she could potentially die in a car accident? I don't know, but that's a possibility after hearing that phone call.
Yes.
I wouldn't put it past Charlie.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would expect anything from Charlie, honestly.
Yeah. It seems like his whole life he's always been, as Lacoste said, some sort of like, what do you say, like conduct disorder kid. If something's wrong with him, if you met him, your alarm bells would be going off. Something's wrong with the guy. No empathy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He barely even had contact with Charlie, but those were his impressions of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. I did want to show some more stuff. Oh, because there was another commenter who asked kind of a long bunch of questions. So I said, well, we'll address it during the live stream, because usually I don't have time to write really complex responses to open-ended questions. So let me show this, and you can give your views also. So let me see. Where is the comment? Okay, this is by Marsha. Let me try to share it. Okay, can you see it? Yeah. Okay, hopefully it shows up. I know the font is really tiny. Okay, Marsha is saying, this is going to be a long one. From digesting all these new YouTubers regarding the evidence list and witness list, it occurs to me that Charlie's defense will be much like Katie's defense. He will indirectly blame Katie and Wendi. Having said this, if Donna gets arrested when the trial starts, I believe Charlie will roll over and cop a plea to protect his mom. Okay, so immediately I would say I respectfully totally disagree, because if he's going to get a plea for real, the prosecution will expect him to be 100% honest, just like what Lewis had to do. His deal was contingent on being 100% honest. You can't just like hold back some info and say, oh, well, you know, like, yeah, I did it all. Mom had nothing to do with it. You know, don't prosecute her, because that's not up to Charlie. You know, if they have plenty of evidence against Donna or somebody else, then it's not going to be, in my opinion, for Charlie to step forward and say like, no, it was all me, save my mom. You know, that's not the way the criminal justice system works. Okay, so she said also a different question. If Wendi is arrested, he will continue with trial. If Wendi is arrested first, can Ruth Markel get temporary custody of the children? If yes, what could stop her from ever returning them, dependent on Canadian law? Okay, so this is where, you know, of course, the disclaimer is that we are not licensed in Florida, so we are not attorneys in Florida. Nothing here is legal advice. Just my opinion is that, well, first of all, I think Dan's mother, she said last year that she was 77 years old, and she didn't expect there to be full justice in her son's case during her lifetime, which I found really sad, because I think the wheels of justice are turning. So, you know, I hope she lives a really, really long time, and she will see the day when justice is fully served and she can spend more time with Dan's children. So, yeah, but I sort of touched on this in a previous live stream that based on what I know, if the child's parents are gone, it's not really up to one person in the family to decide, hey, I get to keep the kids. I think ultimately, if there is a conflict between relatives that want to have custody of children whose parents aren't around, then ultimately it would be a court proceeding where a judge would have to decide what's in the children's best interest. And if Harvey is still around, you know, I mean, he may very well fight and say, hey, I'm the granddad. I helped raise these kids. They know me because they've been living with me since Dan died, right? Or there could be relatives around Florida. I have no idea. But, you know, they could say the kids need to stay in school where all their friends are. They're familiar with the school system here, you know. I mean, that's what I think, is that there could be some potential court battle, even if Dan's mom or Dan's sister wanted to get custody of the children. Okay, what do you have any thoughts on that? Just layperson thoughts?
What a sad thing to discuss, the custody of the children. That, I mean, I really hurt for these boys. I really hurt for them. Their dad was killed in such a manner, and then they're gonna grow up and they're gonna see all of this. They're gonna see Charlie, what he did, Donna, Wendi, all of this involvement, But Harvey is, I mean, you know better in these situations than me, of course, talking about custody and what the judge would do. But Harvey, I don't think he would do anything. I see Harvey as a passive man. That's how I see him. Very
Mhm.
passive. I think he has some outbursts every now and then, angry outbursts. But I think he's passive by nature. And then being with Donna for all these years, he just, she's the leader. I don't know. That's how I feel about him, at least.
Yeah, although I think he does have like a potentially mean and evil streak in him too. There was actually a commenter who has been watching some of my videos, and she said she used to work for Harvey a long
Oh,
time ago. And I was
really?
like, oh, this is very interesting. And she said, well, Harvey actually came across as a pretty nice guy, but he definitely also had a streak in him. You got the sense that he could also be backstabbing you. So, but the person didn't give any more details or examples of it. But
I
fancy
mean,
fiction has also covered it, where there's a police note about some former friend of Harvey's who says Harvey yelled at him, got in his face as if he was getting ready to punch him because Charlie had lied and claimed that this friend sexually harassed him when the friend was just, getting on his case for not doing his schoolwork in dental school.
mm.
So that's
when I
something
say when I
I
say
read.
passive about him, I don't mean to say it in a good way. I mean to say it in a
Mhm.
bad way, because sometimes not doing the right thing is a bad thing. Like not stopping what's happening and not putting your foot down and saying this is not right, that's not how it
Mhm.
should be, is a bad thing in its, in its own way. I think, yeah, I mean, yes, passive, but not in a good way, in a bad way. That's how I mean it. He is dangerous, and he is, I'm sure that he has evilness in him.
Mhm.
Just because you cannot live with these people that long and not be like them.
Mhm. Okay. Let's see. Wow, time is just running on by. So
Nice.
I did want to show something else also, because this is very interesting. Sometimes people do leave very informative comments here that I think get lost in the shuffle because most people don't click and then scroll down and read more comments and stuff. But this is a comment from someone who says she was a nanny for Dan and Wendi a long time
Oh.
ago. Okay, so Lainey says, I lived in Tallahassee for over 20 years and I know this family. I actually was nanny to the boys for about 3 months. It was when they were very small. I remember there was tension between the couple then. Not to go into details, but Wendi was extremely narcissistic and controlling, which is why I quit. I'm back in the UK now and was shocked to read about what happened. I cannot fathom how she has not been charged. She had the motive, was miserable in Tallahassee, and wanted to move to Miami. She couldn't stand her husband and orchestrated the whole thing, in my opinion, even picking a boyfriend who looked like him and tried to put the blame on him. 2 exclamation marks. If not for her, he would still be alive. I would just like to see justice for Dan. Okay. Then Chris wrote, "How wow, you met Wendi. What was she like? Can you give us examples?" So Lainey followed up by saying, "Yes, I met her and Dan, but I rarely saw either of them at the same time together. I was hard to look after the boys while they both worked. I just remember her aloof attitude, very snooty and full of herself. She expected me to clean the house, as well as taking care of the boys, and it just got too much. I didn't like her bossy attitude and the way she spoke down to me like I was her servant. It was just a tense atmosphere. I couldn't put up with it, so I quit. My memory is very vague as it was such a long time ago. It was when I saw, okay, and then it just cut off. So anyway, yeah, so thought that was pretty interesting. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that that's how I would picture her, honestly. Being this, having this attitude. I didn't see anything with my own eyes, but that's how I would see her being,
It's kind of snooty.
entitled, feeling privileged, entitled, feeling, she's something so big. Yeah, I mean, I would see, I cannot unsee this. Yes.
Yeah. Debbie says, I don't think they ever had a nanny. Well, I mean, that didn't come up in any of the family court filings because by then, the kids were already in daycare or preschool. So, I mean, this person sounds credible, but who knows, of course, anybody can have some fake persona on YouTube and write whatever they want. So, but I found it pretty interesting that someone claiming to be a former nanny for a few months would post something like that.
And what she's saying is not very far away from the truth.
Yeah, because we all, I mean, I shouldn't say we all, but at least I got the impression from watching Wendy's testimony. I was like, good Lord, you're so full of yourself and you think that you're so charming and everybody's going to believe you just because you're like opening your mouth and batting your eyes and looking like you're thinking hard and, throwing shade at your deceased ex-husband. I mean, come on. That was like a horrible performance. So,
right.
I mean, it's actually kind of laughable if it weren't really about someone dying.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, what book are you reading from? Okay. Yeah, that comment was actually something that someone had left on, I think it was that live stream show where I talked about Katie likely to testify for the state. Yeah, so that wasn't from a book. But I did hold up Ruth Markel's book, which is wonderful, very heartbreaking to read about what she went through. Yeah, so great book. Did you read this? I think you did, right?
I did, yes. I did some, not all of it, but yes, I went through it.
Yeah. How did you feel when you were reading Ruth's book?
Yeah, I mean, it tells you, I think it tells you the whole it helps you see the whole picture when you read her book. It's awful, I really hurt for his kids.
Yeah. Who knows what stories they've been told about what happened to their dad. And Ruth Markel did say on court TV, maybe about a week or two ago, she mentioned something about how the kids do know that Uncle Charlie's in jail. So, but we have no idea what stories they've been told. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, let's address some of these comments. Thank you guys for being there. I'm just so glad people are still interested in this case because this is a case I think about it every day. I mean, it's just kind of become like an obsession or a part-time job for me. Like reading more stuff, watching stuff, and now there's a lot more publicity because Charlie's trial is coming up. Okay, Charlie should just talk with all this evidence mounted against him. It's a home run case, in my opinion. I suppose, though, he could never rat on Mama Donna. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you would ever.
Yeah. They're just like two peas in a pod, right? Yes. Yeah. But then again, okay, so Tim Jansen did say just recently on Surviving the Survivor, hey, this is in no way a slam dunk case. So, we still got to see what is Rashbaum going to present in Charlie's defense. And it just ultimately is up to the jury to decide.
I don't think he has a chance. And I don't think he has a chance.
Yeah, I think there's.
Rashbaum and Charlie,
Yeah, I'd be very surprised and very disappointed if Charlie is found not guilty.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think Dan would think about life without parole for all his murderers? Well, I think he would probably think that's just punishment if the whole legal justice system and criminal procedure were followed in coming to that sort of sentence. Yeah, because I do know from what people have said that he was not in favor of the death penalty, but certainly, life without parole, if the shoe fits, wear it, right? So, yeah. Let's see, Wendi will soon be the hottest mess in Miami. Yeah. Well, surprisingly, she still has her supporters out there.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. She looks actually very that's how she looks from the outside. Very strong, she holds herself.
Yeah, like she's so
strong.
successful. Yeah. And did you see, like, Fancy showed that latest Instagram picture where Wendi is like flashing this t-shirt saying magic maker, like she's so hot and everybody loves her. She's so successful because she got to talk at some event.
Yeah, I wonder where she gets her confidence from. I wonder how can she be that strong? And actually, another thing I wanted to say about this case being public and stuff, like Crashbomb is saying that a lot of podcasts are talking about it. It's very hard to get an unbiased jury for this. I mean, yes, we are obsessed with this. There are podcasts that talk about this a lot. We talk about this a lot, but I don't think it's that popular. I don't think it's that much. I mean, I had when people around me in my small circle talks about, so what videos are you doing now on your YouTube channel? And I would tell them, the Dan Markel case. There are people that are interested in true crime, yet they don't know about the Dan Markel case. Not a lot of people know about the Dan Markel case. If you want to look at it from outside, if you want to look at it like relatively to other cases, like for example Casey Anthony case, this is a case where you wouldn't, for example, find an unbiased jury, for example, or you would be scared not to find an unbiased jury. But Dan Markel case it's not that much. I don't think it's that much big.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I've tried to talk about the case with my friends who are Jewish and attorneys, and they don't care. I mean, that's a sad thing. It's like, because most attorneys are just so busy working all the time. They're focused on their real cases and their real clients and stuff. They don't have time to read up on some, random criminal case from Florida. Yeah. So, it's like, even the people you think would be interested don't care about this case because they're so busy with their other real life problems and work responsibilities and family and stuff. So, well, is there anyone around you that actually is interested in this case?
Believe me, not. No one is as interested at. I mean, of course, there's my very close people that know about the case now because I do what I do. But in general, no, there's not so many people that are interested about this case. No, they're interested because I'm interested, but not solely by themselves. They're interested. No, I mean, he's looking at a very small community of people and saying, this is everyone. This case has become international. I don't think it's that much.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, we want more people to care about it because to me, it just seems so gut-wrenching and horrible, because most criminal cases is kind of cut and dry. Like, the husband killed the wife, or, the man killed the girlfriend, or the wife killed the husband. It's pretty cut and dry to put two and two together. But in this case, they thought that they were going to get away with it by involving these other people and, trying to pin the blame on other people. So there's just that kind of like level of anger or disgust, that this case is still going on. And perhaps the people truly behind it are still running around free. So,
Well, we know they are. Some of them are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Debbie wants to know order of witnesses, thinking of going to second week. Yeah, I mean, there's no idea to know exactly, but I would say that it probably is going to be similar to what happened in Katie's trial, where of course, the prosecution goes first because they have the burden of proof. So opening statements, then they're probably going to start out with, I would guess, like the first responders, William, his name is William, right? Geiger, the neighbor who found
Dan, yes.
shot. Yeah, the neighbor will probably testify. Maybe Stuart Schlazer, who was talking on the phone with Dan. They probably go in chronological order at first, like the people involved when Dan got shot. And then getting to more of the forensics, the medical examiner, the financial, what do you call it, forensic financial analyst, the FBI agents. So I would assume it will probably be similar to the order of witnesses in Katie's trial. So, let's see, Wendi is not remarried as far as we know. Yeah, there was just one commenter who said that and then backed off. So don't always believe what you see on the internet or in the comments. So I think Dan missing his boys may have led to some edits to his book. Oh, okay. Yeah, who knows? Well, his book was written with two other law professors. And it was also dedicated to Wendi. So I think it was published at least a year or two before she left him. Let's see. Oh my God, if the jury finds him not guilty, that truly would be a travesty. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But part of us, we got to brace ourselves. It's like, because even when we're waiting that day for Katie's verdict, like I was kind of on edge. I was like, when are they coming back? Like, what if she's found not guilty? You just don't know. Yeah. Yes, that's correct. And similarly, I would say that Charlie had some people under his spell too, like he was good at manipulating people. Yeah. Using his money.
Yes. Money and power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wendi is a Sharpie. Is Wendi still being watched? I feel the pain that Dan's parents are going through. It breaks my heart. Yeah. That I don't know. I mean, you would hope so, but it's not like they have unlimited resources either. I have no idea.
Yeah, I saw some comments earlier that was saying if the FBI is still till this day wiretapping their conversations to see if they are preparing for the court or whatever. I don't know if they can do it. Not if they can do that, but given that they already said what they said, like the FBI already said, okay, these are the wiretaps, they made it public. Do you think they would still be doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I have no idea because, ultimately a judge still has to sign off on these warrants to wiretap somebody. So, yeah, it can't go on forever. I mean, there are so many criminal cases going on. So,
yeah,
I just don't know. Yeah, Charlie has the same arrogance as Wendi and Katie. And I do believe he'll take the stand. He's cocky, and they all seem to think people will believe anything they say. Yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows? Yeah. So people have said it's up to Charlie ultimately to decide if he wants to get up there and testify, sort of like Alex Murdaugh. Yeah.
Like Katie went there and testified, which I thought to be the worst decision ever. from her defense team to make her testify. I mean, really, she went there and was like, I don't know, I don't remember. What did she think, that the jury is gonna look at her eyes and her braids and gonna be like, oh, she's innocent, she doesn't know, she doesn't remember? People are smarter than that, you know.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the problems, again, in the Adelsons, specifically Charlie. He thinks that he's the smartest in the room.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, we'll just highlight some of the comments and then
Yeah.
we'll wind it up because it's been over an hour. So thank you so much for being willing to come up here and talk on the show.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm very happy to do it.
Yeah. Well, people say they love your voice. Meanwhile, I get all sorts of criticism from my crappy, hoarse, raspy,
I love
coaching
your voice too. I love it. I love your
I
voice.
try, but it's like I'm just not genetically blessed. And I have to ask you, like, how do you speak for so long without losing your voice? Because you have some videos that were like over an hour, or like, I don't know, maybe not an hour, but it was pretty long. I mean, and I see you're not drinking anything while I'm still sipping on my tea here.
I am drinking my water.
Mhm.
I am.
Mhm.
Yes. But I watched a lot of your videos. I still do sometimes to make my videos. I go back to your videos because you read a lot of things that are really important in this case, such
Yeah.
as the emails and these things. I always watch them again and again, you know.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it
Yeah.
took a lot of time and effort, and
Yes.
seriously, I do physically feel pain, from talking and reading nonstop and stuff. So that's why next week or in a couple of weeks, one of my subscribers, Remy, is going to come back and help me finish reading the appellate, or not an appellate brief, but a motion for post-conviction relief written by Sigfredo Garcia. So sometimes it helps to have other people join in. Plus, it's more fun, instead of just feeling like, oh, it's just me on YouTube talking to my computer,
Yeah, it is more fun. It is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So the oldest child was born in July of 2009. So, and the other child was born, I think, October of the following year. So, okay. Do you want to answer this question? I know you don't really want people to know who you are.
I'm not.
Okay. Wendi has turned into a huge flop. Who would seriously date her? Maybe. Oh, okay. That's cold. That's cold, but we're laughing anyway. Okay. Yeah, she could be watching us, or her attorney and her friends are watching us.
Although she says that she doesn't watch, the media.
Well, I'm sure she's got her goons and peons that will spy and tell her. Yeah. They chartered a plane. What piques my interest is the fact that there are so many people involved. Yeah, exactly. It's not just your straightforward, X kills Y.
Right.
Tries to get away with it. Yeah. Okay. I live a couple of miles from the Adelson home. My office is down the street from theirs. No one knows about this case in the neighborhood unless they're periodontists or friends of the Adelsons. Yeah. Isn't that bizarre? It's like there needs to be more coverage. I mean, is the media afraid to cover the case down where the Adelsons are? It could be, because I remember, what was it, like earlier this year, Surviving the Survivor tried to organize some sort of book reading for Ruth Markel to go down to Southern Florida and publicize her book. And I don't know all the details, but Joel did kind of allude to, running into some resistance from a community group or some people because they didn't want to ruffle the feathers of the Adelsons. So it was hard for them to try to get a sponsor or help Ruth publicize her book down there. But ultimately, they did have some sort of community event. So that was good. Any killer still at large is a public health and safety concern. Yeah, that's right. And on that note, on October 25th, 7 p.m. at Dan's synagogue, Shamrei Torah in Tallahassee, Ruth Markel is also going to have another book reading or speak to people. So that's an event that she's told me about, and it's okay to publicize it. So I might post more about those details if anyone's actually from Tallahassee or going there for the trial. Do you think you might go to the trial?
I'm not really sure about this till today. You know, I'm not sure about it. No.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be live streamed anyway, so you
Yeah.
could just like be glued to your computer if you have
Yeah.
time and watch Deep Dive True Crime.
I'm depending on you and mentor lawyer and the other people that are gonna be there. I think there's a lot of people that cover this are gonna be there, right?
Yeah, I think so, because True Lifestyles and Fancy
Right.
Fiction, I mean, I don't think all of us are going to be there 100% of the time, you know, because we have jobs, you know, most
Right.
of us have real jobs and family obligations and stuff. But I do hope to be there for at least 3 or 4 days. And I still haven't bought my plane ticket yet, but I need to do that and bite the bullet, right? Bite
Yeah.
the bullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
get that plane ticket. Yeah. But see, even if I go there, it's not like I could just like hold up my cell phone and record inside the courtroom, because the court has these specific rules where they only have one official, what do you call it, like videographer. So it's not going to be a stampede of different media outlets all flooding with their cameras, but you have to pay to have official access to the court stream. So that's why I'm not going to be doing it on my channel, because it costs too much.
Okay. Yeah.
But Mentor Lawyer from Deep Dive True Crime is planning on doing that. So hopefully people will support his channel, you know, be a Patreon or a member or whatever, because it does cost him a lot of money to pay for that access. Yeah.
And a lot of time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know how he gets work done, you know, unless he works late at night. Yeah, because I'm thinking even when I go, I'm definitely going to have to bring my laptop and be checking emails and, you know, communicating with my assistant. There's still work to be done, even though this is, like I said, an obsession for some of us. Yeah. Okay, maybe if they get a conviction, that's what I hope so. Yeah,
that's what I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Jansen, you know, he seemed confident that there's not going to be any other arrests of the Adelsons, but, you know, we don't know. I mean, we still have hope, right? You know, let's hope that Kappelman and Jack Campbell, whoever is pulling the strings, you know, they're not going to let this go. Yeah.
At least Donna, in my opinion, should have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and plus, you know, I'm totally biased. So, of course, someone like me would never be chosen to be on that jury. But if I were a juror in a trial against Wendi, I would vote to convict. So, yeah, I think once you connect all the tiny, tiny little dots and stuff, it's like, come on, she at the very least did tell everybody what Dan's schedule was, and that he was leaving on Friday, that, you know, he's here, he's going to the gym, the kids have been dropped off. You know, there were just way, way too many coincidences that happened that whole week. So, yeah. Yeah, Geiger is probably in his early to mid 80s. Yeah. So that was good that Rashbaum took his deposition a few months ago. I think Geiger was going on a trip out of the country or something. Yeah. So as far as I know, Mr. Geiger is still healthy and going to be able to testify. Yeah. See. Oh, you threw your wallet away. You staple all your money. Okay. Yeah. Have you ever stapled your money?
No, I don't think that's an ordinary thing to do or a normal thing to do, you know. It's not.
Yeah, that's very bizarre and unusual. Yeah. Okay, this person says you look like the 3D rendering of the real Cleopatra. Has anyone said that to you?
No, never. Thank you, though. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Wendi still has never made it up to Dan's standards. She's very mediocre. Yeah, that's probably why, you know, Dan couldn't mention Harvard at their wedding, because it would be like, oh, you know, it would hurt Wendi's feelings or make her feel inferior.
What a low self-esteem she has. What inside, of course, you don't see it, but knowing what we know now, that Dan went out of his way to tell his parents, please don't mention anything, just so he doesn't hurt her feelings. It's really bizarre. Like, she must be really fragile from inside. No self-esteem, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is what Lacasse had said about her, was that she kind of coasted along in life because she was pretty. And so, she had this aura about her where she would cast a spell over men. So people would want to help her out and do things for her, but she really couldn't handle things very well herself. Wendy's ashamed. Yeah, I think she's also trying to hide. Yeah, trying to hide so people can't easily find her and send her messages through social media. Do you think that other inmates at jail are enjoying hearing Charlie talk about his work? No, I'm sure Charlie is trying to, be down with the homies and trying to act like he's all tough and get street cred or whatever. Maybe he's bargaining with ramen and the, what do you call those? Those like whole shebang potato chips that everybody likes in the jail system. Yeah, I'm sure he's figured out the jail system now and how to curry favor with people. Is Wendi a sociopath? I don't know. I mean, what's the difference? Is there a difference?
So I'm not a mental health professional at all. It's just I know that sociopath is just a word that we use, but up to the DSM, it's psychopath. There's nothing called sociopath.
Oh.
It's the same thing. Just I think one is more casual than the other. Sociopath is more frequently used in casual talk.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's skip all the way down. Sorry, but I do have to get going. It's way past an hour here. So have the boys visited their, as far as I know, no. I mean, Dan's mom has not mentioned that at all. I don't think the kids have gone back to Canada or gone to Canada since Dan was shot. Yeah. So he was actually buried in Toronto. So Sunday was a memorial service at his synagogue, but the actual funeral was later in Toronto because they, transported his body up there. Yeah, so Wendi was not at the funeral, so I'm sure the kids were not there either. Yeah, let's go to jail so we can try. Oh, you can actually buy them online. Yeah, so there was a live stream a long time ago where True Lifestyles and I were talking about Wendi's book, and so I was eating the chips because I bought them on eBay, and then people told me they hated seeing me eating on the screen and they don't want to see that again. So no more food on live streams. Yeah. Plus it interferes with your ability to talk and entertain people. So nobody wants to see you eating. It's not a mukbang channel, right? So Wendi is a narcissist. Good job. You ruined your entire family's lives. Yeah.
She doesn't even care about it.
About what? Her family's lives?
Yeah. She's just living her life,
Yeah. It's all just like, haha, you suckers, you did this all for me.
and then after all of that, she still uses her mom to babysit her kids so she can live a life, she can have a life. It's like she said it's like a co-parent. Her mom is like a co-parent to her. I don't know where she said that. Maybe in a podcast.
In her podcast, her writing workshop podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, canteen prices went up. Yeah, Charlie's wearing dread. Yeah, maybe that's why he's not shaving. Because I think it was a True Lifestyle. Somebody said that Charlie actually isn't shaving in jail unless he has a hearing coming up. So maybe he thinks he looks more tough and gangsta with his beard that's turning white. Yeah. Okay, Charlie wears a do-rag on his head and walks around saying, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised,
Yeah, I mean, he's got to do whatever it takes so that he can cope in jail and make friends. For those who don't know, Noah is an attorney in a unspecified non-U.S. location. Oh, okay. Well, she actually, I mean, you are in the US now.
Yes, I
You
am.
mentioned
Yes.
that on your
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, True Lifestyles. Thanks for being here. You guys be sure to check out True Lifestyles as well as the society page. Man, I just really feel like I want to show this again because I just loved it, especially the part where they start singing diarrhea. That totally cracked me up. But the society page made this really nice short little thank you video for Jeff Lacoste. And it's
The society page is really doing great videos, great at editing. I mean, they look professional at the videos that they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he or she has mentioned having a professional background in filmmaking or film editing. So I was like, well, that's
sense.
very obvious. Yeah, because you'll see, I just made another short video of a comedy skit. And I mean, it looks very rudimentary compared to society.
To her,
pages.
yes.
Yeah, but I hope you guys laugh anyway. At least,
Of course.
people laugh. Yeah,
Yes.
so this is just so awesome. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole thing because I want people to go to this person's channel and subscribe and watch it yourself. But who knows if someone has told Jeff already about it, but we all collectively thank him and support him, as well as the other witnesses that are going to be helping the prosecution and telling the 100% whole truth. You know, this is a big deal to us who care about justice for Dan. And, you know, helping the jury make the right decision also depends on credible witnesses who aren't going to hold back. So, okay. So, yeah. Did you watch this already?
I did not.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's so
Yes.
good. I was like laughing out loud. So, yeah, this is awesome. So, oh, yeah. Okay, so Angela says she liked the sparkles around Judge Wheeler's glasses and the sound with it. So enchanting. Thanks, Society Page. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, so that's just awesome that people out there, that we're not the only ones that are strangely obsessed with this Dan Markel case. You know, it's okay to be obsessed about certain cases. I mean, you got to be passionate about something, especially when it's a real life situation where we don't want murderers to get away with it. Yeah. Okay. There's a cat one? Okay, I don't know about the cat. I thought I saw everything. Okay, entertaining and displaying the truth. Yeah.
Right. Yes, I think this is very correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, you have any parting words that you would like to say to the viewers out there?
I mean, I'm very excited for the trial to begin, and looking forward for justice and for truth to be told. Yeah, I think that's what we're all here for, right? Truth. We just want to know the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to try to put a link to your page in the chat box just in case people still have not subscribed to your channel. Also,
thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So how much time do you spend on your channel?
Well, it depends, you know. I would like to be more consistent. That's my goal, to be more consistent with it. But when I do a video, usually it's like 2 weeks prior of preparing for the ideas and the concept of the video and the script and everything else, you know. That's how much usually it would take me to make a video.
Yeah, it's very time consuming. You know, I've spent 5 hours editing videos and then still being frustrated and realizing there's some error where some of the speaking got cut off or something bad happened. So it's caused a lot of stress.
Especially when you're not when you're now learning these things like editing and video production and editing and stuff like that. We're now learning it as we're going, you know, so it's a new thing for us too.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks to you and all the other people, we're all working hard to try to bring light, more information about the whole Dan Markel case and allegations against the Adelson family. So I think it's all great that we kind of have this little virtual community of people who really care about the case. So.
Yeah, and thank you, Judy, for all your hard work and the time that you put. I know how much time it takes. So you put a lot of time and hard work in what you do. So thank you for doing that
Sure,
also.
sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for being so supportive in everything, and we look forward to seeing more cool videos and things. Do you think you might live stream also on your channel?
Maybe, yes, maybe. I mean, I've done 2 live streams before. I liked, I'm still a little bit shy about live streams, but I think it's a good idea to live stream. It's nice, the interaction with people while live streaming. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and plus, you don't have to waste 5+ hours editing
Right.
and editing, because even like with those short videos where I pretended to be Donna reading emails and acting crazy and stuff, it would still take like more than 5 hours just to edit something that turned out to be like a 5-minute video.
Right.
Because there's just like so many things you have to upload onto the computer and add the music or cut out the excess parts. Yeah, it's so frustrating. I really hate video editing, but sometimes when I feel like I have an idea, then it's like, okay, it's worth it, even though I make like $2 or something ridiculous. So yeah. So okay, thank you guys so much. So are you monetized yet? Do you have ads on your channel?
I don't. I am monetized. I mean, my channel is monetized, but I'm not. I don't know what's wrong, but I don't get anything yet. It doesn't even say. There's like per view or some RPM or something. It doesn't even say anything. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's wrong with it. I think it needs big numbers to make.
Yeah.
To meet
Oh,
the
because you
threshold.
have to have, don't they still have that rule of 4,000 watch hours before you can get monetized, even if you already have 1,000 subscribers?
They do. And
Yeah.
now they did it for 500 subscribers. And that's why I
Oh,
got monetized, because I have the 4,000 watch hours. I had 500 subscribers. So that's why I got accepted into the partner program or
program.
whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think you'd have to meet a threshold to get to a certain, I don't know. I think I'll have to look more into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope you do get some sort of reward. I mean, it's not,
Yeah, that would
it's
be
not
nice.
even
Yeah.
minimum wage, like in terms of like what I net, and you still have to pay taxes on whatever piddly amount you earn each year on YouTube. They send you a 1099. But this is, again, it's like a real hobby and something that I really care about. So that's why I'm doing it. Yeah.
Right.
So by the way, just to address this question, Angela has it right. Yeah, it was Tim Jansen that said that Luis Rivera is getting out in 3 years. And I quickly wrote a response within the live chat. I was like, I don't think so, because everything I've read said that Luis is supposed to be in prison a total of 19 years, which was 7 years for the Markel murder and 12 years on totally unrelated federal drug type charges.
Mm.
So, I think he was in prison since either maybe 2015 or early 2016, because he was already in prison when Sigfredo got arrested in the spring of 2016. Yeah. So thank you, Angela. I can always rely on Angela to know the facts so quickly. So, it's pretty amazing. You really should do a YouTube channel too. Everybody should create a channel. So that's his federal time. He still has state time to serve after that. Some years ran concurrent, but not all. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Because it does kind of aggravate me when people give, incorrect information. I know
Right.
it's not on purpose, but there's so many crazy details. And sometimes there are details where nobody's even sure, like what's really the truth, so we don't know. So yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, do you believe he can read or write? He filled out. Yeah, I mean, I think Luis can like fill out his name and his address and stuff, but in terms of real reading, who knows what level he's at? He could be at a second grade level, or who knows what. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he dropped out of high school. Yeah. So, okay, thank you, Angela. It's good to show this information here just to clear up any confusion. Tim Jansen said he only had 3 years left. That's in federal prison, finished in 2026 with federal. It's safer in fact. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Angela, for always being there and setting the record straight. Okay, he wants to do his state time in a federal prison and has written a letter to Georgia requesting that, correct? Okay, he played dumb for Katie's lawyer, so cracked me up. Okay, so you're talking about Lewis? Yeah. Okay, so Cliff is thankful to you for being here. Needed some fresh perspectives, tired of using the same old jokes. Okay. Yeah, it's always great to hear from new people, and we can grill Remy in a couple of weeks when he helps me read one of the motions.
Right.
So you guys can hear Remy's take on things as a layperson who is in Florida, who has also been obsessed with the Dan Markel case. Yeah. Rivero's rolled up. Yeah. Oh, Ryan, I have to thank you for making me laugh out loud because I saw one of your comments under, I think, June Umchinda's direct examination or cross-examination from the 2019 trial. So Ryan left a hilarious comment there making fun of Sam Zanganeh and how Sam seemed like he was like, getting a little bit too excited, asking for details about June's relationship with Charlie. But you guys should check it out. I think it's on the Law and Crime Network. But sometimes, once in a blue moon, I do see a really funny, hilarious comment from people. So thank you, Ryan. I'm pretty sure that was you that wrote the comment about Sam Zanganeh. Gonna have to check out your videos. Yep, definitely. Okay, so people are saying, okay, so this person is calling you Cleopatra. Okay. So you guys want to start a channel together? Who's Engelbert? Okay, I don't know about that case.
I don't know about that.
Joel on Surviving the Survivor was freaked out a little, but yeah, he's not getting out in 3 years. That was a, how shall we say it, a mistake or misstatement. I think going to trial is risky, especially if the Adelsons are what they have known to be. Okay.
Yeah, but what can they do?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, now all eyes are on them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, scrolling down. Okay. Well, thank you again so much. I appreciate everybody being out there. Sorry I couldn't get to every comment or question, but it's really nice to meet new people and get their fresh takes on this Markel case, because sometimes it seems like it's all the same group of people, we're in an echo chamber or something and saying the same things over and over again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was Ryan B's hilarious comment that he left. So look for June Umchinda's 2019 testimony on Law and Crime Network and scroll down and you'll see something really hilarious that Ryan wrote in the comments, which it's a little crude. So I'm not going to say it out loud here. So me be crude. Okay. Thanks for the live podcast. Interested. Yeah. Hopefully if Katie testifies. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Not sure about that. Okay. So, yeah. Do you want to stay on for a few seconds and we'll just go ahead and say goodbye to people out there? Okay. Thank you. Have a great weekend, you guys, and check out
everyone.
Check out Deep Dive True Crime or Mentor Lawyer's other channel. He has something about the bump that just came out, I think.
Right. Yeah. He's going live, I think, now.
Yeah. Okay. We better get going. Okay. Yeah. Take care.
So
stay on for a second.
Take a break and then go to Mentor Lawyer. Yes.
Okay. Great. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you for joining in. Thanks for supporting our channels.